Welcome to Good Morning Football. We are live in Times Square in New York City on this Tuesday, October 16th. My name is Kate Adams. Nate Burleson's here, as well as Kyle Brandt and Nate Burleson. Ridiculous game last night. Last night was the kind of game, guys, where the second I saw on the schedule, it was the Packers on a Monday night game. I took a nap during the day.
Got to.
Because you got to be awake in the fourth quarter because maybe some magic will happen. Aaron Rodgers taking on the team that he grew up rooting for as a kid. Monday night, bright lights. Kyle, let's go to Lambeau.
Don't mind if I do. Let's go to Lambeau Field. This one was awesome. Packers, Niners, believe it. Here we go. Aaron Rodgers with the big old big box store knee brace. They're doing everything they can to support him, and boy, did it work. 10-7 early lead for the Packers. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. We got a touchdown.
Okay.
We got Davante Adams, who had himself a night. Everybody was celebrating last night, too. There was a vibe in Lambeau. Look at Mike McCarthy, big old smile on his face early on in the first quarter. But this dude was nuts. This is before the game. Look at Marquise Goodwin. Just jacked, 40 degrees, and boy, did he come out to play. 17-7 now, Green Bay. If you're showing the speedometer, something awesome is about to happen. We got a touchdown. Marquise Goodwin, 63 yards from C.J. Beathard, 21 miles per hour. The Niners, the celebration game was great.
They fired right back. Jaws dropped in the crowd.
They came to fight. I'm telling you, they had fireworks.
Celebration is.
Oh, it's coming.
It's incredible.
Wait till you see the long jump celebration. Now Packers have 20-14. Beathard, look again. It's Marquise, and here we go. Former track star, get ready, put the toe down on the line. Oh, first we got some next gen. Nate, look at this route.
That's a post corner, baby. He looked inside and broke him off.
Now, here we go. And the running start. Watch him elevate. Marquise, get up.
Hey.
Look at that, man. Carl Lewis, eat your heart out.
Watch the
Sticks
teammates.
the
Looking at the.
Marking it.
He broke the record.
We love the theatrics, and we love C.J. Beathard coming to fight against Aaron Rodgers.
Played great.
Third quarter now. 27-23 Niners. Rodgers looking. Guys, look at this. Okay, the ball's going to go out of bounds. But look on the replay. You think Rodgers isn't banged up enough. He's grabbing his wrist. It's a little cold outside. Watch his right hand on the follow-through. Bangs right into the helmet. That hurts so bad. The fingers, the wrist, the hand.
Like this.
The worst. Right on the helmet. He shakes it off. He almost shakes his head, too. Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm falling apart trying to hold it together. Fourth quarter. This man knows the Niners came to give him a game. 30-23 now. San Francisco leading. And guys, this was a 4th and 3 inside the 5. They went for it. Incomplete. Look at Davante on the slant. He had him. Went up top instead. Pass is broken up. No penalty. Packers turn it over. Are they going to lose at home in Lambeau Field on Monday night to the Niners?
To go for it on 4th down. They didn't take the field goal. It seemed like they was going that way.
Same score, though. 30-23. Rodgers looking. Davante. He was a monster last night. That's 38 yards down to the 20-yard line. Get on the ball. 3 plays later. Who do you go to again? You need to tie the score up, and it's Davante. What a game from this dude. The Packers got these young receivers who played a role, but Davante really was an alpha in the secondary. Rodgers just got the scalpel out. He got it out and started dissecting the Niners. 1 inch slower, that pass is broken up, but it was that kind of night. And look at the blood on the sleeve like Kurt Schilling. Awesome performance. But 30-30. The Sunday nighter was 40-40 at one point. This one 30-30.
Get that ball outside,
C.J. Beathard tried to end it. 1 minute left, and he gets intercepted by King. Nate, what'd you see?
You got to get that ball outside as a seam route, but intercepted.
Goodwin can break it up too. Something.
Kevin King intercepted, though, ensuing Packers possession. Less than a minute to play. Tied at 30. Where do you go? Rodgers gets sacked. He gets sacked by DeForest Buckner. That could send us to overtime again. But wait, there is a penalty on Richard Sherman, illegal contact downfield. Huge call, prolong the drive. You can't give Rodgers second chance. 41 seconds left, 1st and 10. What's he going to do? He can barely move. He's out the gate. Get down. He does, but a huge play.
And he fought for more. He could have slid a lot earlier. He fought for more.
Pockets. Now watch this.
Watch this ball.
Watch this throw. Bang! Got it out of bounds. Davante. 15 seconds. Guys, Packers, no timeouts. Tackle in bounds. The game's over.
You keep him looking. He keeps looking to the sideline, saying, "I got this. One more.
Where's he go to? Is that Jordy Nelson or is that St. Brown?
Listen, at this point, they're in field goal range. He's not going to go for one more play.
He wants it. Crosby. Another one. Mason Crosby missed 5 kicks last week in a dome. This is setting up to get real dramatic. Rodgers one more time. No timeouts. 5 seconds left.
What was going to do before the field goal attempt? He threw another incomplete to make sure there was 0 time left for the Niners.
3 seconds left. Mason Crosby, incredible. Did not make one last week, did not miss one this week. A 51-yarder and the game winner. Mike McCarthy, boom. How about it? What a
Look
night.
at that.
Packers Niners was
love you, man.
fantastic. And I love you, Mason.
Cool kick, bro.
The four of us all do.
What a
How
game.
was the score? 33-30. Aaron Rodgers taking over, and here he is after a monster clutch win at Lambeau.
I don't know if it was a season-saving win for us, but it definitely was an important one, especially with the prognosticating that'll go on about the type of opponent we have coming up the next few weeks, and obviously them being road games. This was an important game for us. I'd never like to use the term must win, but it was an important one. You know, we're a couple plays away from being, 4-2 or 5-1, and definitely a couple plays away from being the other way. So we're thankful to be 3-2-1 right now and realize what's in front of us and how this type of play might not get it done against the next opponent. So we got to play better. I just told Doc I'd love to take the brace off after the bye, but we'll see how I respond tomorrow and this week and next week, and probably get some sort of image up. But that would be nice to be feeling great come next week, Wednesday.
And this is why you take a nap during the day if Aaron Rodgers is playing in prime time. You can't miss the fourth quarter where he takes it to another level. Over the last 3 years, 24 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions in the final frame. He gets it done. Rodgers pulls it off in the clutch. A perfect way to send him and his teammates into the bye week. Reaction to the game, to the comeback, both sides. C.J. Beathard brought it. What do you got, Nate?
Time and time again, he impresses us. Time and time again, he shows us why he's one of the best quarterbacks in this league. Yesterday, I was out running errands, and I passed a house that's getting ready for Halloween.
Okay.
And there's just decorations everywhere. And it's one of those homes as a kid you hesitate to walk up, because you're like, oh, I might get scared that something's going to pop out. It really freaks you out.
Yeah,
it's like the worst sight when it's supposed to be such a great night. I felt like that's what defenses feel when they see Aaron Rodgers in shotgun in the fourth quarter. It's the worst possible sight, and it gives you fear because you know that you're going to be scared and something is going to pop out and get you, and that's Aaron Rodgers. He popped out and he made play after play after play. It is the worst fear for any defense for him to have the ball in his hands in these moments, for him to keep looking at the sideline and say, one more, one more, one more. Such a bold move. You know how many quarterbacks in the league, and maybe even some of your favorite quarterbacks, will sit there and look to the sideline and say, hey, can we kick it sooner than later? Because I don't want this ball in my hand.
Get it over with.
I'm panicking right now.
Yeah,
Not Aaron Rodgers, man. They say that Kobe Bryant has coldness in his veins, ice in his veins. So does Aaron Rodgers. One of the best to ever do it.
49ers stopped him on 4th and goal late in the fourth quarter, up 7 points. Like, you think it's over. You think it's done. They get that 3rd and long. Sherman has the penalty. But even then after that, there was, 90 seconds to go, 90 yards after that interception, and he gets away. I know how to kill a cockroach. They say you can't kill cockroaches. I know how to do it. I looked it up.
What do you do?
You get 2 or 3 drops of soapy water solution. You put it in a spray.
Is that how you do it?
That's true?
You can kill a cockroach. It's on Google.
Okay.
It's on WebMD.
Okay.
Why don't they do that to Rodgers?
I don't know how to kill Aaron
Soapy
Rodgers.
water?
Soapy water. I don't know what the soapy
Get
water
that to Lake Forest, Illinois.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Bears destroyed his knee and put him on the cart, and we're up 20, and he still couldn't be put away. I mean, the Cardinals had to put up 51 points in a playoff game to do it. I don't know how to kill him. I don't know how to stop him, and he's a cockroach, except cockroaches I know how to destroy. I don't know with Aaron Rodgers anymore. He's unstoppable, and he says it. He's got these 2 games coming up. He's like, we can't play like that. But what was the name?
I love
Equimanius St. Brown. Yes.
Equimanius
They all
St.
stepped
Brown.
up.
Yes.
All of them stepped up. All of the supporting cast. Great, thanks for the DIY.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's.
Appreciate it.
I hope you never have to deal with it, Kay.
I'm going to go with the fact that, yes, he has magic in the fourth quarter, and there's a sense of urgency that he plays with when put into a corner that I love about him, but it sort of translates to the rest of the team, too. Those guys did step up, and really, this was my pigskin pick'em grade 8 pick of the week, and I did it not just because of Aaron Rodgers and what I know he could do at home at Lambeau, but because of the defense and how they've looked. Going into this battle, they were the 5th ranked defense in the league. Now, in the first half, I was like, oh no, here we go, because they did not have it together even a little bit. But I do give them a lot of credit for some second half adjustments and resiliency, where they only allowed 6 points in the second half, just 2 field goals. And it's plays like this big play by Clay Matthews, who, by the way, did not get flagged on the sack. This, of course, gets him the ball back for the game-tying touchdown. Then you have the interception by Kevin King. You don't get to have that magic happen from Aaron Rodgers without plays like this. If this defense keeps coming to play like this, I'm in.
Yeah, me too. The defense
stepped up big in the right
plays,
moment.
and Rodgers closed the door. And I hear it all the time. You guys love Rodgers. You talk about Rodgers so much. This is why we talk about Rodgers. And I just look at, Jared Goff has this incredible spectrum of weapons, and Pat Mahomes has all these things. Devontae Adams is great. But the fact that Rodgers is dealing with these young dudes, it's like a Daniel Day-Lewis in like a fish out of the water screwball comedy about taking care of kids. We're watching
community theater.
Community theater. It's kindergarten quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's out there. Who's your daddy and what this? That's what Aaron Rodgers is doing. These guys who did step up and make plays. Jamon Moore. He's a rookie. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, rookie. Equiminius St. Brown, rookie. This is not Craig Jennings. This is not Jordy Nelson's in Oakland. Randall Cobb was on the sideline, and he's still doing it. That is the magic of this Beethoven of football. He is the kindergarten quarterback. Yeah, did you see the clip of him yelling at Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Sitting there in the middle of the field. Watch this now. It's just a short little pass. He wanted it tighter. He wanted it. Watch Rodgers on national television. Dude, what are you doing? Get over there. We went over this in practice. I told you I'm going to put your ass in timeout. And he should. That's what Rodgers is doing and he's still winning. That's how good he is. That's why we talk about Rodgers.
We've got more highlights. We'll, of course, get you guys set for Week 7, but the NFL world mourning this morning the loss of one of our owners.
That's right, and it's with a heavy heart that I speak on the passing of Paul Allen. Now, millions of people in America and across the globe benefited from the talent, intellect, and creativity of Paul Allen, who partnered with Bill Gates back in the 1980s to build Microsoft into the world's dominant software system. And yet, one of the world's wealthiest men was always able to remain a kid at heart with his professed love for Jimi Hendrix music and professional sports. He was already an NBA owner in the late 90s, then given the opportunity to keep professional football in the Pacific Northwest. Like everything else in Paul Allen's remarkable life, he seized that opportunity and through his efforts laid the foundation for the golden years of the Seattle Seahawks.
To create an environment that heightened crowd noise, driving visiting teams to distraction.
12th man going crazy, place is loud.
The noise here is so deafening right now that they just cannot communicate at the line of scrimmage.
The really interesting thing about our owner, he's very passionate about the Seahawks and he's very passionate about music. Those are his two loves. The intro music for our players when they come out, when they're first introduced before the game. He wrote that music bed that we run every game. That's how passionate he is about music. And he's a great guitarist, actually.
Allen's love for Seattle-based rock compelled him to build the Experience Music Project Museum, just one of many philanthropic causes he contributed to during his lifetime. His support of science, technology, and educational programs ranked him as one of America's most charitable benefactors. Where football fans will remember him best is his team's on-field dominance. The Seahawks enjoyed the most successful period in club history under the ownership of Paul Allen.
Your Seahawks, Super Bowl champions. Thank you, Paul. 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 Thank you, Paul.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell released the following statement. Paul Allen was a driving force behind keeping the NFL in the Pacific Northwest. His vision led to the construction of CenturyLink Field and the building of the team that played in 3 Super Bowls, winning the championship in Super Bowl 48. The raising of the 12th man flag at the start of every Seahawks home game was Paul's tribute to the extraordinary fan base in Seattle, in that community. His passion for the game combined with his quiet determination led to a model organization on and off the field. He worked tirelessly along our medical staff advisors to identify new ways to make the game safer and protect our players from unnecessary risks. I personally value Paul's advice on subjects ranging from collective bargaining to bringing technology to our game. Our league is better for Paul Allen, having been part of it, and the entire NFL sends its deepest condolences to Paul's family and to the Seahawks organization. He will be missed. And in being a kid from Seattle, for what he meant to this community, just like Russell Wilson, expressing what he meant to so many players, it's going to be tough for people to deal with. And Russell Wilson says, we have lost a friend and a giant. Mr. Allen, thank you for your extraordinary vision, your abundant generosity, and for believing in all of us. By your example, you made all of us better, kinder, May you rest in peace. Go Hawks.
Awesome.
Patriots owner Robert Kraft also chimed in on the passing of Allen, saying Paul Allen was a brilliant businessman who was driven by a deep passion for his work and a desire for excellence, which is evident in his myriad of business and philanthropic endeavors. With both the Seahawks and the Sounders, he built a foundation for success that helped inspire two of the greatest fan bases in their respective leagues. While our teams did not play often, I very much enjoyed the time I did share with Paul. For his understated and unassuming nature, kindness and wisdom always impressed me. The NFL and the MLS are better for having Paul Allen involved, and so are the countless others who have been touched by his brilliance and his compassion. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Allen family, as well as the entire Seahawks and Sounders organizations and all who mourn his loss today. Here on Good Morning Football, we continue to mourn his loss, to celebrate his life and his impact. I know, Nate, you played for him. Was he in the room when you signed? You met him right away?
No, he wasn't in the room when I signed, but he was there quite often, but quietly, though. One of the titans of so many different industries. And I think for people that are sitting at home, they may say, okay, I'm familiar because of the Blazers, the Seahawks, the Sounders. It's so much deeper than that, being just a young black kid from the inner city, and you try to identify with so many men that you see and cross paths with. Of course, my father, my brothers, the relatives close to me, but then there's individuals that are from your city, and you say, that guy's doing it, and he's doing it at such a great level. So it was finance, it was tech, it was the aerospace, it was sports, it was the entertainment and film business, and the philanthropy. And I find myself at 37 trying to mimic all these things, and I got my hands on so many different things, as you guys know. It's because I was influenced by one of the greatest men to ever walk the soil of a place that I'm from and this world. So his impact is so much deeper than sports. It's what he meant to the world. He was
4.6. They've ranked 15th or worse in scoring defense in each of the last 3 seasons. And since Smith took over in 2016, the Bucs have given up the most 400-yard games in the NFL. The numbers don't paint a pretty picture at all, and head coach Dirk Koetter knew it.
I do think that we had a good plan on defense for Atlanta. We did a lot of things that we had planned to do. We did some things differently, but it just didn't work out that way. And so, this is a production business, and we have to play better on defense. We have to play better as a football team, but we have to play better on defense.
Well, the Bills have a different set of issues. They come under center. In particular, rookie Josh Allen. Allen is considered week to week with a right elbow injury. Allen will get a second opinion on his ulnar collateral ligament. Buffalo just signed Derek Anderson to go along with Nathan Peterman. Packers kicker Mason Crosby, as we saw, went from dejection after missing 5 kicks last week to elation after putting the game winner against the 49ers on Monday Night Football, one of his 4 field goals made on the night. Our newfound, long-lost friend of the show, thanks to Kyle, former kicker Rolf Benirschke, weighing in on Crosby, tweeting out, "Congrats to Mason Crosby. I knew he would rise to the challenge this week and come back stronger than ever. It's not easy being a kicker or a Wheel of Fortune host, Kyle Brandt." Rolf Benirschke, he's got jokes as well, and he's got comments. And thanks to you, Kyle, now he's a big fan of the show, and he's actually tweeting in his comments. It's like you guys are broing out now, I feel like.
I'm a big Benirschke guy. I think we all are. We've been introduced to him. More importantly, Mason Crosby doesn't miss last night.
Yeah.
I heard there's some chatter that Sajak might be ready to hang up the jacket and walk. So Mason Crosby, hello. That's opportunity, my man. Benirschke, we see you. We love you.
I like it. I think you're onto something, KB. I'm all for it.
How soon... Thanks, Will. How soon would you leave our show to host the Wheel of Fortune?
What do you mean, Kay?
Like how quick out the door? It'd be like the imprint of a guy in the wall running through it.
As long as Vanna's staying, I'm going.
You're in.
I want to work with Miss White. Love that Miss White.
All right, we have you covered on all things Thursday night football right here on Good Morning Football. It's the Broncos taking on the Cardinals on NFL Network, and this might be a must-win game in the desert in Arizona. We're there. I mean, there's a lot more than pride on the line, guys, with very more on this story. Very more. Why not? Here's Omar Ruiz.
Good morning, Kay. The heat certainly turned up here in Arizona as the Cardinals are now off to a 1-5 start. When head coach Steve Wilks was asked if his offensive coordinator Mike McCoy's job was in jeopardy, Wilks responded by saying all their jobs are in jeopardy, including his own, if they don't start winning. Rookie quarterback Josh Rosen says he appreciates the frustration, but he says now is not the time to try and play hero ball. Now's not the time to try and do too much. The Cardinals' biggest concern right now is converting offensively on third down. Against the Vikings on Sunday, they were 0 for 10. Justin Pugh saying if they can simply extend drives, they would obviously get more plays and therefore more production. Coach Wilks' message to the team this week as they get prepared to host the Broncos on Thursday is that nobody is feeling sorry for them, not especially Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and the rest of that Broncos defense. For now, let's go back to you, Kay.
Thanks so much, Omar. We'll be talking about this game leading into kickoff on Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. But it does beg the question, what do we think about Josh Rosen? What is the state of the union? Where do we rank him among that rookie quarterback class?
You know, it's so early, and there's such a tight pack in terms of their play. I'm just going to give it my own spin. In pure watchability, like the guy I want to watch on Sunday, I'm having him number one. I love him. I've talked about his facial expressions. He did, you know, in that win they got, he did the giant sledgehammer celebration, which he went on Twitter and dubbed the Hebrew Hammer. I follow him on Twitter. But Josh Rosen's the guy I want to watch. I like Allen, I like Baker, but I'm putting him at number one most watchable right now.
I'm going to give him an incomplete because I think he's not been helped at all. I think...
You're that teacher?
Omar...
Yeah, do it.
Omar mentioned it. I don't think Mike McCoy's doing him any favors with this offense. It's very pedestrian, and you look around, and Sam Darnold has Jeremy Bates, who's this offensive wizard. Yeah. Josh Allen is Brian Dable from the Belichick tree, and then Baker Mayfield is Todd Haley. We're seeing handoff up the middle, screen back. It's the most boring offense in the league.
Talk about it.
I need to see what he can do when they open things up, and they haven't done that yet for him.
Well, I'll take that handoff. Speaking of handoff, that means where's the running game? For watching that offense, it's like walking into a house party and there's no music. Where's the DJ?
Come on now, let's go.
DJ. Where's David Johnson? So for me, that would help a rookie when you have struggles on offense and you have him trying to figure it out. All these guys are, like you said, it's such a tight pack. They're all under 60% in their completion percentage. But when it comes to watchability, I'll go Josh Allen more than anyone.
Really?
That thing is either going to be absolutely amazing or a little bit of a dumpster fire.
Mine's not watchability. I look at it as far as being impressive. We all say Sam Darnold's a robot, right? He just throws an interception and keep going. I like his resiliency, right? So he gets upstaged by Baker Mayfield. He faces the Jags, has a really tough game against them, but then back-to-back wins over the Broncos, over the Colts. Against the Colts, he completed 80% of his passes. He's looking good, and let's not pretend his supporting cast is some, all-pro level players. He's, they're all rising to the occasion together. Jeremy Bates, obviously a huge factor of that, but I like Darnold.
And he's on the right side of the touchdown-interception ratio. 9 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. For a rookie, that's good.
Really good.
It's Thursday Night Football. It's a...
Take us home. Crosby, you are the hero tonight, my friend. The Packers win 33-30. Packers over the Niners. I must say, though, C.J. Beathard balled out, but he is facing the boogeyman. Hemby. We're taking over!
Call him El Guapo, and bienvenidos a las carreras enojadas. Julio, you can't be doing that to guys. That's not fair. Ready? And now we're going to do a... And now he hits him again! Just drop it. See ya. Boom! That's his segment.
Amazing.
Welcome to Angry Run's Infinity War. The time was we did a fun segment. We rounded up the most physical, punishing runs in the NFL every week, and we voted which one was the most punishing, the angriest. And then the segment got broken by a guy we call Vanos. Give me the poster, guys. Steelers tight end Vance McDonald, his run against the Buccaneers back in the day has led us to this. These are the guys I called out after a 1-month run by Vanos up here. Come on, Mark. Come on, Marshawn. Guys, knock this man off his perch and give us our segment back. Let's find out what happened. Does the dark era of Vanos continue? When you need help, guys, you call your friends. And we don't have a better friend on this show than Vikings running back Latavius Murray. Give me Latavius right now. The Vikings taking on the Cardinals. The Tay train says a little bit of that. Now wait to the reverse angle, because this gets real nice. Look at the movie that made the theaters. Rosario Dawson saying, it's not a train, it's a missile the size of the Chrysler building. Chris Pine, what was he doing fresh off the Star Trek? But Latavius with a great stiff arm, a great guy, and he's gone. Is he the guy who takes out Vanos? Same color as Vanos. Maybe there's something there. Let's get on to it. Next one. You never want to have an angry barber. I've sat down for some angry barbers before. It looks like they cut my hair with a fork. And look out, Peyton Barber of the Bucs. Guys, this gets real nice. This Tampa-Atlanta game, we never had Peyton Barber here before. But if you guys freeze it right here, This play is over. This is a safety. He is about to wrap up on Peyton Barber, and watch what happens. Peyton Barber says, no, my friend. Roll this thing, because it gets real nice. This is in the hole. Mano y mano. Roll the clip so we can have Peyton Barber give him a nice spike haircut. Runs him right the hell over, keeps going, falls off another guy. I like seeing some Peyton Barber in the clip, right?
Angry Barber? What you mean you're not going to give me a tip? You're not going to tip me?
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to take that comb and that blue water, right, and put it right back next time.
Push that lineup back.
Rocky Marciano!
Right. That'll be $5. But this does feel a little bit like Ant-Man on his own going to take on Vanos. Maybe we need a more powerful superhero like this man. Gronk is going to say, boom! Guys, it's real physical. This is Rob Gronkowski, our legend, tight end to tight end. Look at this. He's going to do him a little move, and then he's going to punch the lightning out of him right there. Down he goes. This is my favorite angle, because he's going to turn him all the way around. Look at Rob. He's thinking about beers and touchdowns and fun. Freeze it. He's completely facing the other way. And guys, look at my man up here, the blurry face up there with the X shirt. He says Gronk might have just won Angry Runs with his giant elbow pad. Ball security completely flips him around as he's off and running. Roll again for me, guys. We're trying to do what we can do. There's a Dark Lord overseeing this whole segment. Could Gronk be the hero, or maybe is it Latavius? One more time, sends him tumbling. Sort of looks like Chris Conte there, doesn't he? Just a little bit. So those are our entrants. And now's the time every single week where we say we introduce our champion, and here he comes. The vortex opens and he walks out with the ridges in his chin and the purple face. Give me Vance McDonald. We call him Vanos, and look out, Chris Conte. It's tough, guys. It's real tough, and he sprints for a 70-plus yard touchdown on top of that. Look at him looking off here, and you know what's coming next.
Give me Cam.
What do you mean, Peter?
Give me Cam Hayward.
Give me Cam Hayward.
Give me the Cam.
We have the full Linda Blair head turn, and here it comes.
Where's the Cam?
Everybody knows. It's like the album you listened to a million times. There's Cam Hayward saying, oh! Guys, it's tough. That's why he's the champ. And now we go over to the table. You know, Adams, I noticed during the segment you've got purple on today. Our champion is purple. Is there a symmetry there? What say you?
I will say that it's not even close. Vance McDonald wins this round.
Vance McDonald advances. Vanos conquers P. Schrager.
I gotta shake it up.
To it was Gronk, and it wasn't. It was.
But I'm gonna go Gronk for context.
It was a Fugazi.
I gotta take this guy.
Go on.
Context. Game of the year. Final half. Everyone. Gronk puts him down there. That game was a Monday Night Nothing game against the Buccaneers. We'll never remember. That game, though, Chiefs-Patriots, Gronk to make that play on national TV. I'm going Gronky Kong.
You're going Gronk.
Gronky Kong.
We got purple blood. We got Vance. We got Gronk. Nate Burleson. Destiny, the future of the human race, lies in your hands. What say you?
Vance has been wearing that glove.
That gauntlet.
But I'm going to take it off and give it to Gronk.
Bring the light up. Let there be light. Let there be light. Down goes Vanos. It's over. Rob Gronkowski has just ripped the gauntlet off and defeated Vanos. Gronk, we love you. Let me give you a big kiss.
You know what it is, Kyle?
That's the
champ. Incredible Hulk didn't show up in that last movie, and the Incredible Hulk is here. He is Gronk. That's the Hulk right there.
This is the Hulk.
But always sought the best in everything he did. Allen died due to complications from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Allen was 65. The news comes just 2 weeks after the co-founder of Microsoft began treatment for the disease. He was initially treated for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma back in 2009. Allen served as the owner of the Seahawks since 1997. The franchise won a Super Bowl title and 9 division titles. Head coach Pete Carroll tweeting this out, deeply saddened by the passing of Paul G. Allen. I'll miss him greatly. His gracious leadership and tremendous inspiration will never be forgotten. The world is a better place because of Paul's passion, commitment, and selflessness. His legacy will live on forever. Reaction, of course, coming from all corners of the NFL. Falcons owner and chairman Arthur M. Blank releasing a statement reading in part, Paul's legacy and impact on all of us will not only be remembered for his team's success on the field and court, but for the lives he has touched along the way. He'll be missed, but his numerous positive contributions globally and especially in the communities of Seattle and Portland will forever be felt. Well, Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy also telling NFL Network's Tom Pelissero of Allen, quote, he didn't speak often at owners' meetings, but when he did, everyone listened. And of course, for more reaction from around the league on Allen's life and legacy, be sure to visit NFL.com. As we've been seeing, Kay, all throughout this morning and also yesterday when the news came out, we've been hearing reaction from not just the sports world, but from the world in general, because he touched so many people's lives.
An innovator, a philanthropist, one of our owners that we obviously are mourning all morning long here. Nate, playing for the Seattle Seahawks, sort of brings it home here to the breakfast table. Appreciate you, Will Selva, and we'll talk to you in a little bit. Switching gears now to Good Morning Fantasy. It's Tuesday, guys. We've got 4 teams on a bye. You can't play Rodgers this week. You can't play Big Ben. You can't play Russell Wilson. What do? Listen to me. Here's some guys that I think you should scoop up off your waiver wire. And let's start with Mitchell Trubisky. Take my homerism out of it. He's just had 2 back-to-back great games. And, of course, he had a bit of a bye week in between. But if you basically look at where he ranks on NFL.com since week 4, he's above guys like Andrew Luck, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, and Tom Brady. That's pretty impressive. So last 2 games, he's averaging 335 passing yards and 50 rushing yards a game. We love those rushing yards, Kyle, because they're like little fantasy icing on the cake. A little bonus. To put you over the edge. I'd say they're facing New England.
Yeah, talk about it.
Stream him against New England. They are the 7th most generous to quarterbacks this season. You know it'll be a high-scoring situation. He's not really using Jordan Howard all that much, and he's got the weapons to make it happen. And the play caller to be aggressive.
And I love a shovel pass touchdown. Easy fantasy points, Kay. I'll take them.
That's right. Let's move on to a running back, friend of the show, Latavius Murray. So Dalvin Cook dealing with this lingering hamstring issue. We don't know what's going on with the sophomore running back. But what a day our guy Latavius Murray had. Vikings running backs, guys, all together have a combined 190 rushing yards in 5 games going into Sunday. Latavius broke that with that 155 and a score last week. It's the Jets in week 7. They're middle of the pack against running backs. So I think if Dalvin Cook doesn't suit up, you got to pick up Latavius Murray. Another running back I like, Corey Clement. Clement. I always say his name wrong. Because Clementine. Okay, got it. After missing a few weeks with a quad injury, he put up 69 yards and a touchdown against the Giants. If you're looking at, the last 3 games, he looks good at getting the touches. No Jay Ajayi. And he's averaging 15 touches a game over the past 3 weeks. Starting running backs averaging about 105 yards a game against the Panthers this year, and that is his matchup in week 7. All right, if you need another running back, and you do, because you can't play James Conner, you can't play Aaron Jones, you can't play Carson or Mike Davis. They're all on a bye. So turn to Marlon Mack. He's about 50% owned in fantasy leagues on NFL.com. He came back from a hamstring injury, had almost 100 yards on just 13 touches against the Jets. Jordan Wilkins, he didn't even play an offensive snap. I actually dropped him for my fantasy league this week, so it's looking like it's Mack's job, and he is the Bills, who are the 12th most generous to running backs. Last but not least, a wide receiver, Nate Burleson. Mohamed Sanu has been so good lately. Last 4 weeks, he leads. He's top dog over Odell, Juju, over AJ, over Keenan Allen. I love it. He has either a touchdown or 100 yards in 4 straight, guys. And Ridley, his status is sort of up in the air, right? He's got a bit of an ankle injury. What if the volume goes up for Mohamed Sanu? I like his odds against the Giants to put up some big numbers. Again, I feel like he's not getting enough love for how good he is.
Yeah, and it was almost good, though, that Ridley was healthy and on the field. It helps Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah.
I always say all the time, the more guys you have on the field, the easier it is to do your job at the wide receiver position.
Mohamed Sanu crushing it. We see you. Pick him up on waivers, and there you have it.
Hey, it is weird. We talk about it all the time.
Seemed like they were trying to figure out what their look was, and they couldn't quite get it. And then finally, this past weekend, it came together. There was a new jacket led by Cole Beasley. There was a hat on. That was the IQ and the creativity. The shoes are Ezekiel Elliott. I would say the final piece to the outfit is the shorts. Let Dak show his legs, because when he's in the pocket, huge legs, but when he's in the pocket and he breaks down and then takes off, this offense is so much more explosive. Whether it's an RPO and he takes off, or the pass play breaks down and he takes off, I would say Scott Linehan, I encourage you more Dak.
Nothing. What are we talking about on Monday?
Here we go again.
That's the thing. I'm not convinced. I need to see it 2 weeks in a row, okay? And I think going on the road and doing it is going to say a lot, and also in the division and getting the leg up on Washington. You win this game, you're up there with the Eagles, and you guys are looking down at everyone. I need to see it one more time. I need to see them pack their bags and do it in another building, because if they lose 35-0, then we're right back to where we were 2 weeks ago. We do it all over again. And 8-8 in this year, I just don't see that getting it done.
Jeff Heath is doing the swag one. Heath,
Peter. What did you make of Dak's McGregor
That's
walk.
exactly what I wanted to see from him. I want to see some attitude. His body,
We're brothers.
and you are happy if you're a Packers fan, albeit, I don't know, a little underslept last night. 33-30. You know who we should hear from? A vindicated Mason Crosby with a vindicated Tom Pelissero after the win.
Mason, after everything that happened last week in Detroit, what does it mean to come out here and bang that game winner?
Oh my gosh, that whole game, it was just special. Had a great week of work, had amazing teammates. Just what a gutsy deal to get down here and have a chance to win that thing. So so thankful for another opportunity, and to have it in like that is amazing. So I didn't have gray hair before last week, so this is new, but I feel so thankful.
Congrats, man.
All right, thanks.
The old gray hair joke. Gotta love that. Packers heading into their bye week happily with a 3-2-1 record after that. Let's take a look at their schedule.
Ooh, that's brutal, Kay.
It's quite the gauntlet, if you will. But it begs the question, because you're looking at that Week 9 situation at Patriots and at undefeated Rams. You know, we do this from time to time. Things get a little heated. Game on the line. I'm going to say one final drive.
Okay.
Who you got? You got Rodgers, you got Brady, or I'll give you the whole Rams offense.
That's fun.
Whoa, this is a cold-blooded
offense. That's a lot.
Would you rather? This is...
Yep. You
Get in there, Strakes.
College? Anybody have?
I'll jump in. Listen, I'm not going to play these games. I'm not afraid of this locker room argument. I'm going to go with Tom Brady in that offense.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. You're like, Nate, here you go again, hating on the Packers. I'm not hating on the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is phenomenal. Last night, he looked like the best quarterback in football. Rams offense, they're clicking all cylinders. Todd Gurley is the MVP. But when it comes to Tom Brady, I don't care if he can't move in the pocket. I don't care if he's not a threat to run. It's him combined with the playmaking and his ability to throw guys open even when they're not open. So for me, I've seen this time and time again, and more times with Brady than I've seen with Rodgers. And we're just looking at these plays. Check them out. Patiently, just methodically picking people apart. These are throws he's making throughout the game. When he's in the fourth quarter, he's just as calm. I have never seen him rattle. Ever in my life. That's when I played against him, and now as a fan of the game, watching him from a bird's eye view. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
I'll go with Aaron Rodgers just because I feel like when it gets into those situations, he turns it to another gear. We do a live show for 3 hours. If we were to record something, I'd mess up. Like, I'm not good at recording and knowing I have like a little time to do
Safety
anything.
net.
A safety net.
Do it live.
That's him. He gets pushed into a corner. He's like, oh snap, I have to do this now. And he gets it done, guys. He's thrown game-winning touchdown passes to guys named Jeff Janis, Richard Rodgers, Donald Lee, and Andrew Corliss. Not exactly household names. He's done it on the biggest stage, and he's done it in these weird ways. So I trust him in a game-winning final drive situation to get it done. And if worse comes to worse, he could always just chuck it up for a Hail Mary. True. Also, this is a quarterback I want to see on a final drive.
It's a compelling case. I'm worried that on the final drive that they have a kicker who's 90 years old. That Mason Crosby's aging like the president. Remember when W came in, he looked like Zac Efron. He went out like Orville Redenbacher. That was Mason Crosby. But listen, Brady has thrown touchdowns to over 70 people. Like obscure, abstract, small. I just look at what Brady did in the Super Bowl against that Eagles defense that was legendary and the dog master.
How about against the Falcons defense
against
earlier?
the Falcons defense. But I will say this for Rodgers, and I said at the top of the show, he's doing it with Equiminius St. Brown, Jamon Moore, and this guy, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I defy you to find one person back at kickoff who was aware of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, let alone really, truly excited for him. Find one person.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, hello! Hey! The NFL is back. It's the king. Please join us. We're here for the ride.
Yeah, Peter!
Down. Let's go!
Did he do this in the booth last night?
Yeah, he did. I like
Sean McVay.
Saquon's so good, he separated his name. He said, we got to see Saquon and Barkley.
That's it.
That's how good he is.
That's
He's two people.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That's a Packers rookie, and I'm here for it.
That's good.
Hey, do you want to edit your record?
Football's back, baby.
That's amazing.
August 10th? You said before kickoff.
You're right. He's doing the Valdez-Scantling. Why?
It was a dance in August, the Valdez-Scantling. Because in preseason, that's who Rodgers was throwing to, and I knew it would come up in.
Is that right?
Wait, no. Let's dive into that for a second. August 10th, when nobody was thinking about
him as a player.
Victory lap,
Why?
Peter.
I'm not taking a victory lap. That was who was playing receiver for the Packers. And it was like, who's going to step up? And it was that guy, and he did last night.
I also think you kind of just like his name.
Love his name.
How did you know?
Equiminius St. Brown.
If his name was Josh Anderson, would you be doing it?
Jake Frumino, you're not gonna dance. I'm gonna answer this question. That was fun. I'm gonna answer this question though, and I'm gonna, I guess, take the crazy answer. But I'm watching all these games, and the Rams' last 2 games have come down to the final minutes, and they've been on offense, and they don't leave the door open. They slam the door. McVay goes for it on 4th down with Goff and says, hey, we're on our own 40-yard line, 4th and 2. Instead of punting it, let's just convert it. Gets the first down. They do all these 4th down conversions where they hand the ball to Gurley, and they have the greatest offensive weapon in the sport. So as much as I love Rodgers, and I cannot give any more respect to Brady than I've given the last couple of weeks, I honestly think I might roll with McVay, Goff, and that offensive line just because I have seen them not give those other guys the opportunity. The 49ers gave Rodgers an opportunity. The Chiefs left time on the clock for Brady. I don't think McVay, Goff, Gurley, they give those other guys a chance. They put the game away, and they shut the door. They don't leave any room to be brokenhearted.
It's a fun conversation. We'll keep it going on Twitter at #GMFB. We're doing the show today. We'll give you guys highlights, set you up for Week 7 action as well. But we're doing the show with heavy hearts a bit today. The NFL mourning the loss of one of their owners. We continue to remember the life, the legacy of Seahawks owner Paul Allen. He passed away yesterday at the age of 65 due to complications from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And among many achievements, the co-founder of Microsoft and noted philanthropist that he was, he will be remembered as the owner that led Seattle to their first ever Super Bowl win. Let's welcome in Judy Batista. She's now here with more. Judy, thanks for joining us this morning. In your words, what will Paul Allen's NFL legacy be?
Well, good morning, Kay. His legacy really should be that he saved the Seahawks for the city of Seattle. The Seahawks were very close to moving in the mid-90s to Southern California. The previous owner had already set up office space in Southern California. He'd already announced that the team was going to California, and then Paul Allen stepped in and saved the team for his native city. And then, of course, he poured some of his vast resources into making it a top-flight franchise. He oversaw the construction of CenturyLink Field, which is one of the great home field advantages in the entire NFL. He built a state-of-the-art training facility on the banks of Lake Washington. He spent to hire the top flight coaches like Mike Holmgren and Pete Carroll. And of course, the result, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl championship. But honestly, guys, it's kind of crazy to talk about Paul Allen's influence just on the NFL. Let's be honest. He built the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle. He started an institute for the study of the brain and traumatic brain injury. Artificial intelligence was one of his interests. So he had a wide array of interests. And of course, the Seattle Seahawks were one of the most successful ones.
Thanks so much, Judy Batista. There's more at NFL.com. I know you wrote some pieces over there remembering and honoring his legacy as we continue to do that throughout the show. And we appreciate you joining us from New York City, where the owners' meetings are being held this afternoon. Looking forward to hearing your coverage of that later today on Total Access and tomorrow. Okay, we're going to take a short break here and get back to some murky there from 2 to 32.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm always fascinated by 32. I'm just going to admit it. And there's a lot of contenders. In fact, there's 2. One of them plays in this city. One of them plays in Northern California. We'll see how.
The Northern California look good. Oh, the other.
The other, not the silver and black. They may have a say in that. But
silver and black played in London. Don't forget about them. Long flight home for them.
Long flight.
A lot of dizziness, for sure. All right, Will Selva out in the newsroom in Los Angeles this morning. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to all of you. And it seems like just yesterday, our guy Schrags was fawning over a rookie wide receiver out of Eastern Washington, Cooper Kupp. But Kupp and Schrags aren't calling off their engagement like Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. No. Their union is more meaningful than that, people. Not anymore. Serious note, it could have been a season-ending injury when Kupp was carted off the field after a horse collar tackle by Broncos safety Darian Stewart. But Kupp remarkably returned to the game with what is now being called a knee sprain. Head coach Sean McVay saying the wideout will be week to week, but will probably miss Week 7's matchup with the 49ers. Now, the news not as good for Jets wide receiver Quincy Enunwa. According to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport, Enunwa expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks with the sprained ankle. He leads Gang Green with 22 catches for 287 yards receiving on the season. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins punching in a 7-yard touchdown run against the Cardinals on Sunday. But more importantly, it was his end zone celebration that caught our attention. It had some wondering if it was a version of the floss or the backpack dance, as we like to call it. Cousins clarified what move it actually is.
Adam calls it the dead arm dance, and he said that's what they used to do back in the day at Mankato State. And it looked pretty familiar because I've been at some parties where some people who can't dance do that as well. And so I like to embrace my inner, my limitations as a dancer, I guess I'm honest about. So I said, well, that's a dance I can get behind.
I want to party with Kirk Cousins. Now, all that being said, he actually said that the dance was pre-planned, that it is a mix between that dead arm dance and Stephon Diggs dance. And there were actually elementary school kids in Minnesota who were doing it yesterday. So he's inspired this dance fever, if you will.
Right.
Laquan Treadwell.
I listened to his podcast yesterday, and they were talking about how I don't know who it was, that they would do it at college parties. One person would start, and their goal was to get the entire room doing the dead arm dance, and they were successful quite often. So it's working out.
Yeah, Laquan Treadwell said he would give it a B+. So that being said, I mean, Schrags, really, the dance floor is open now for you to give it a shot, right?
I have a good feeling that the four of us will be doing the dead arm dance at some point this week. I have a strong feeling. If I know our producers well, there's a pretty good chance.
That goes against all your dance rules, though.
No, I know.
Your arms are alive, buddy.
I'm going to a wedding this Saturday just in time. That's me.
That's you.
Bust
on the dance floor.
Young MC.
Conor McGregor or the dead arm dance? What are you doing?
Almost kind of the same, right? I got a little bit of the same going. It all ends in the running.
I don't know. See, the thing with the dead arm dance is that you can't do too much. It's very small. I don't know that Kyle could do that. Kyle will do the dead arm dance, and it'll end up looking like the McGregor strut.
I like to do a lot.
He likes to do a lot. He adds his own
many things.
He's going to end up doing Marquise Goodwin's long jump at the end.
I'm into that, right?
None of
the open bar.
Not yet. You're not cleared, are you?
No.
You're not cleared for touchdown celebration.
Cash bar.
Thanks so much to Will Selva there. Listen, we have you covered on all things Thursday Night Football. This week, it is the Broncos taking on the Cardinals in the desert, but also right here on NFL Network. And it might be a must-win game for Arizona. There's more than pride on the line for this one, so let's send it over to Omar Ruiz.
Good morning, Kay. The heat certainly turned up here in Arizona as the Cardinals are now off to a 1-5 start. When head coach Steve Wilks was asked if his offensive coordinator Mike McCoy's job was in jeopardy, Wilks responded by saying all their jobs are in jeopardy, including his own, if they don't start winning. Rookie quarterback Josh Rosen says he appreciates the frustration, but he says now is not the time to try and play hero ball. Now is not the time to try and do too much. The Cardinals' biggest concern right now is converting offensively on third down. Against the Vikings on Sunday, they were 0 for 10. Justin Pugh saying if they can simply extend drives, they would obviously get more plays and therefore more production. Coach Wilks' message to the team this week as they get prepared to host the Broncos on Thursday is that nobody is feeling sorry for them, not especially Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and the rest of that Broncos defense. For now, let's go back to you, Kay.
Thanks so much, Omar. We'll be talking a lot about this game leading up to the kickoff of Week 7. Let's look at some of the key pass rushers in this matchup. Von Miller up against Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones, who led the league in sacks last year. These are top 10 in the NFL in sacks, in sack rate, and pressures, defensive stops since back in 2016. All right, 6 weeks in. Let's talk about the State of the Union on Case Keenum and the Broncos. We talk about him, but let's really dig in deep ahead of this Thursday night showdown.
You know, Case Keenum's been battling for his position his career, his whole life, but he's in a different kind of battle now because there's a thing going on in Denver where he's not playing well, and he's had guys behind him before, guys in front of him. He's never had a guy named Chad Kelly, who is Jim Kelly's nephew, who was drafted 253, Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, who's known as Swag Kelly, who's got this sort of really bad boy image come good, and the Broncos fans are very aware of it. In the game last week, when Case Keenum was checked for and cleared of a concussion, he had to lead the game, which means that Swag Kelly had to come in the game for a really anonymous snap, but it was not anonymous or meaningless for the Broncos fans.
Let's see.
It is Chad Kelly, the new Broncos quarterback, and listen to the reaction.
That's so bad.
From a sparse Broncos crowd, but the crowd loves it.
Well, this is interesting indeed. It would be a strange time to bench your quarterback with 11 seconds to go. I would have to think Case has been shaken up. That'd be my guess as well. Case has got his helmet on, now is walking back to the sideline. The Broncos are going to take a knee, so I wouldn't read a lot into this.
It's about the loudest cheer ever for a first-half victory formation. He was not benched, but there's a guy coming who the fans want, and it's definite.
And I'll double down on it. It goes even deeper than that. If you follow the Broncos fans and the message boards and all this stuff, on Saturday night there was a big Pac-12 game, Oregon versus Washington. Both John Elway and Matt Russell, their front office executive, were in attendance at Oregon watching Justin Herbert, the #1 overall prospect. And Broncos fans are going wild. The fact that they were even at the game, the ABC camera showed him. He threw a great pass, Herbert. They cut to Elway, and he had a grin on his face. It's 6 weeks in. And I feel like these Broncos fans have already abandoned Case Keenum, who had the Elway jersey as a kid. That story is long gone.
Yeah, and I'll triple down on it. You guys are mentioning the play on the field, and Chad Kelly, and all these things that he's dealing with on and off the field. But what about the money that they paid him? They made an investment into him, and he was supposed to be the investment into the future. So if this doesn't work out, they're going to cut ties quickly. And now Case Keenum not only fighting for a chance to be a starter again, but a chance to be on a team again.
We're talking much more about this matchup throughout the week, leading into this Thursday Night Football.
Yes, I like it. 19 yards, puts him in field goal range. Who's going out there to kick the ball? And that is Mason Crosby. Last week, he didn't have a day, but tonight, the night was his. Game winner. Boom. That right there, 27-yard field goal, 3 seconds left. Packers win 33-30. And there it is, the brothers hugging in celebration. Packers now 3-2-1.
I like it. Contact.
Love that. Another week of NFL action is in the books, so we like to go around the table and sort of wrap a bow on the week that was with what we learned. Should I start?
Yeah, Kay, go ahead and do that thing.
Okay, what I learned this week is that Twitter sees all. It's the eye in the sky. It does not lie, and the internet misses nothing. And I love it. It's obviously changed the way that we watch the game, absorb the game, all of that. And every Sunday, I'm working on my other show, and I'm watching all these different screens and all the games. But I don't get to see everything, right? I don't get to see every down. Of course, Game Pass helps with that. But cue the internet. And while some people might think the World Wide Web is only good for cat videos and Chrissy Teigen Instagram mentions, it's also an incredible tool for learning about the best moments on Sundays, big and small. So he passes, he bobbles around like a pinball machine, and he catches it back into the hands of Big Ben. Now, Kirk Cousins also did this in his game, but I kind of like this one better because it's a little more wild.
Two Bengals.
I've never seen a double bouncer.
I've never seen two.
Brad Johnson and the Brett Favre and all those, but never that.
This is a first.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next, Adrian Peterson. So he's shown that he could still do it at his age, but this week he proved he doesn't even need two cleats to do it. I feel like, what is this, his 12th season in the league? You think you have to show us something new? And he does. Slips through the tackle, doesn't even get tackled. That's Luke Kuechly, guys.
It got stuck in Kuechly's helmet?
I know, isn't that just
how crazy
disrespectful?
Wow. Shoeless Action Jackson. I like it.
That is amazing.
I've never seen that. It's in Luke Kuechly's ear hole.
You wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for NFL Twitter.
Yeah,
moving on. Everybody makes mistakes. Most of them don't take place on national television. This poor Titans fan just wanted to show off his team pride on TV. Don't you guys feel bad for him? He's having the time of his life. He finally gets the airtime, and he can't,
upside down.
He can't get it right.
Not tight.
Yeah, well, that's a distress signal. That was what the Titans did last week.
And then he turns it around. He turns it around like, I got this.
At the end of the clip, the Ravens sack him at the end, too.
Look at the lady in the back, like, turn it around.
Come on, get it together.
Wait. No, now it's backwards. Now it's backwards.
Oh, please identify this guy. I love this guy.
Yay!
That about sums up the Titans game.
Let's get him to London this weekend. He plays they play the Chargers. Can we pay for his flight to London?
We got people making out in Times Square, going to the sidelines post game. Why not? Finally, the Brady Mahomes showdown was an instant classic. But did any of you catch this great moment of communication between Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski? Did you guys see this?
Gronk, stand up. Gronk, stand up. Gronk, stand up.
Gronk, stand up! During an interview yesterday with with WEEI. Brady did not hang up the phone during the interview. That's one. But two, he was asked about this play, and he said the formation was for him to be in his stance, but based on something that he saw, he wanted him to stand up and look taller. I guess is make sure that he had like the presence to take on Dee Ford and make himself known. I think Dee Ford probably knows Gronk's pretty big.
Yeah, of course. That was amazing.
That was like he should have given him a doggy treat or something. You know, like Gronk is like a big, lovable Labrador, and he was like, "Sit, stand up." Like you should give them a treat. Or
Rings the belly, salivates.
Yeah, they have a kamikaze shot. What did he give?
Like us at the dinner table, right?
Yeah.
The internet might be great for online shopping and Googling things and slang words and all of that, but it's also a treasure trove of great moments with all that little stuff that's so great.
That's awesome. It's good stuff. The internet always wins, as my brother says. Okay, there was a lot to take away from the Vikings win over the Cardinals Sunday. But what I learned this week is what happened before the ball was even kicked off. I learned that Kirk Cousins isn't the motivational speaker that you'd expect. Now, when you think of Kirk Cousins, what are the first things that come to mind? Dad jokes, like literal dad jokes, right? Today, at the Creed Greatest Hits album was played during the team lift. Today was a good day, as if he's Ice Cube or something. Right. Even, you know, questions about fashion, right? He'll chime in with different tweets about that. But one label you wouldn't give Cousins is hype man.
Yeah.
In fact, Cousins' pregame speeches, you might think he would say things like, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Or luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yep.
Or maybe mismanaged success is the leading cause of failure. Well-managed failure is the leading cause of success. Ugh. I actually found that from Kirk Cousins, from his Twitter, actually, right there. Perfect. That's fanny pack tweets right there. But some of them, I know, right? Twitter, right? We'll find Twitter, man. But what Cousins did this week showed us there's this mismanaged success tweet right there. All right, but what he did this week before the game showed us an unexpected side of the quarterback. Check it out.
Nothing in this league is free. Nothing to give. You can't just roll your helmet out there and play. You got to go out there every play and earn it. And you got to take it, man. You got to take defense. I've been a rookie quarterback before. You can suffocate him. You can suffocate him. Make him miserable all game long. Get us the ball back. Like Dan Gable said. Like Dan Gable said. When you shoot, when I shoot, I score. When you shoot, I score. Here we go. Win on three. Win on three. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, got a little dude. When I shoot, I score. When you shoot, I score. I love it. Okay, Kirk. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, as if we needed another reminder, you don't need to eat your fingers to pump up your team. You know,
Show the clip.
You know, Jameis. I'm not gonna. I ain't gonna show the clip.
Whoa, why did you show it?
Jameis, you're my guy. You know I love you.
Did he ever lick a W?
Hey, listen, like my guy Kyle says, they're not all wins. You know what I'm saying? They're not all winners. I've had some
Not all
duds
gems.
in the pregame.
I've had some
duds in pregame, too. Listen, I mean, we need to hear that in the morning here in our meetings, Kirk Cousins. Can we get that? Like, I want you to walk into the Mondays like, nothing's a gift. You got to go out there every segment and earn it. I've watched TV before, and you can entertain them. You can entertain them. Make them laugh all morning long. Listen, so the next time you think of Kirk Cousins, just know that he's more than just a guy who tweets about getting old. Right here, I guess I'm getting old. Today, a teammate said, you know, Cal Ripken Jr., or, you know, this Minnesota State Fair tweet. State Fair. Kirk.
Do you think he
Or even tweeting about Batman. Look, this is my guy, Kirk Cousins. Okay, so listen, just know that he's also a motivational speaker. And he's up there. I'm talking about he's up there with the likes of Ray Lewis, Tony Robbins. I
like it.
And all the greats. And that's what I learned. Kirk Cousins, I don't just see you. I hear you, fans. I hear you.
And I feel you.
And I feel you.
Suffocate a rookie quarterback.
Now, that was deep.
That was great.
That was real. He said, I was a rookie quarterback before. You can suffocate. Man, I wish I would have said that.
You know what I like, though?
That's worse than licking bagels.
I can't.
Terrible.
This is what brings us together. This is NFL Game Day morning.
I love you, Dad.
Yeah, that's a huge factor, okay?
Welcome back to Good Morning Football. Joining us now, very excited about this, a presenter and creator for NBC, SN, and the UFC. She is a famed British sports personality who's got all the latest from London ahead of our visit there next week. Here to get us set for our trip, let's welcome in Layla Anna Lee.
Hey!
What an intro! I love that. Kayla, my new best friend. Thank you very much.
That's right. We'll have to hang out next week. So you were at Wembley for Sunday's game between the Seahawks and the Raiders. I was there a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't get to see a game. Explain to me what the atmosphere was like at the stadium that day.
Absolutely insane. It's a 90,000 capacity stadium and it was almost at capacity. I think the final figure was around 85 or 86,000 people. Most of them Americans, must I say. I didn't know there were that many Americans in England coming over here taking our NFL tickets. Might need to think of building a wall or something. But the best thing about it is all the stuff around the sport that we don't consider. Like here in the UK, obviously we're used to big sporting games, but we're not used to bazookas shooting like t-shirts into the crowd, semi-naked cheerleaders and guys on bouncing stilts. It was out of this world. You almost gave England an anxiety attack of excitement. We loved every minute of it.
Okay, Layla, that's what I'm talking about. We don't want no wall around here. But now listen, there's a lot of Americans that say they have theories about London, but I don't want to hear that rubbish. I want to hear your theory about London. Discuss that with us.
Oh my gosh, I have a theory that I'm so sure is true. So look, at the last four teams to win in London went on to win their division. So if you're coming over here and you're winning, there's beginnings of a winning streak. Now, I wanted to look back at history in this and look up the stats. I wanted to back up my idea because I had a feeling that this isn't just down to technique, talent, or strength, but potentially London as a good luck charm. Now, I mean that literally, that London could be a good luck charm, but also psychologically, the sense that you're traveling such a far distance, the sense that you're, on a new audience and you want to impress new people. Maybe these athletes are taking on a different level of responsibility and therefore performing even better. So I wanted to look back in history, check out the stats and see if my theory was true. And guess what? You have to guess.
It's true.
It's true!
Yay!
Exactly. At least one team to win a game in London over the last 6 seasons made it all the way to the playoffs. In 2012, the Patriots, the 49ers in 2013, Lions and Cowboys in 2014, Chiefs in 2015, Giants in 2016, and in 2017, as you know, the 4 big ones, Jaguars, Saints, Vikings, and Rams. In fact, if you go all the way back to the first ever regular season game in the UK, 2007, the New York Giants played the Miami Dolphins. They defeated them 13-10. And do you remember what happened at the end of that season? Around 2008, New York Giants only went and won the Super Bowl, baby. So you see, it's actually... Yeah, you remember? There's that luck. We're rubbing off on your NFL teams and it's happening. Now, did I say something that doesn't work in American terms?
No, you're good. Coming up gold.
Okay, good. I always worry that I've said something that doesn't work as an Americanism.
Oh, no.
Apparently, go steady isn't something I should be saying either. But anyway, I can't believe that more NFL teams haven't cottoned on to this because surely they should all be begging to come and play in the UK because clearly there's a real good luck charm. I mean, look at the Patriots. They're so successful. They've been doing so well. 2012, 2009, came to play in the UK, won their games, won their division, and they've been holding on to that luck, right?
Yes, Layla Anna Lee, everybody.
Girl, we're going to be best mates.
I have more.
Thank you so much
Can't
for
wait to
being
see you over there.
Here on Good Morning Football.
Yes!
I didn't what?
Don't go away.
Turn up,
Can I tell you more?
I know.
Oh, no, joining us tomorrow, Layla.
Save it for when we get there.
Tomorrow.
FaceTime me.
Yes.
Okay.
See you at the bar.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sunday night, the Patriots.
Turn up, Layla.
Yeah, we got
great energy.
We will have Layla on tomorrow, bringing us more facts. London is a good luck charm.
Yeah, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of luck thrown around, a lot of drinks.
Hey, I heard they're strong there. I heard the pints are like double down what they are here.
They are.
Did you say FaceTime me?
Something. Skype. I don't know. She had more to talk about.
A lot of info.
You can't get me info from Hamilton. I'll take it from Layla.
We're wearing our pins. We are supporting Crucial Catch. More than 150 cancer survivors and their guests were on the field before Sunday Night Football. More than 300 total people, and they all wore a Crucial Catch t-shirt in the color that represents the cancer of which they have survived. A cancer diagnosis can come at any time. It doesn't discriminate, but regardless of the type, you can prepare to fight it. The NFL and the American Cancer Society are continuing their longtime partnership on Crucial Catch to help the nation play offense against all types of cancer. Visit NFL.com/Crucial Catch to learn more, and they have this awesome app that you can complete. It's called The Defender, and it gives you some preventative tips that sort of are customized towards you in reducing your risk for cancer and the risk of your loved ones. So please go there, NFL.com/Crucial Catch. Up next, we're going to send you over to William.
I love William.
Hey, Will.
Thank you, Kay. I appreciate that. Of course, we are broadcasting this morning with heavy hearts from the NBA's Trailblazers to the MLS's Sounders to the NFL Seahawks. When Paul Allen's presence in the Pacific Northwest sports scene loomed large. He was never one to seek attention, but always sought the best in everything that he did. Allen died due to complications from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Allen was 65. The news comes just 2 weeks after the co-founder of Microsoft began treatment for the disease. He was initially treated for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2009. Allen served as the owner of the Seahawks since 1997. The franchise won a Super Bowl title and 9 division titles. Now, sentiments pouring in from around the league. The 49ers tweeting about Allen. A visionary and philanthropist, Paul Allen put his heart into making the world a better place. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and the Seahawks organization. Former Seahawks running back and current Raider Marshawn Lynch also tweeting, "Rest easy as you go home. Paul Allen, prayers for your family." Jaguars owner Shad Khan also releasing a statement that read, "In part, we're remarkably fortunate that Paul shared his passion with the Seahawks and the NFL, but his impact on our entire way of life is what all of us should remember and celebrate most today. To Paul's family and friends, I send my personal best on behalf of Jaguars fans here in Jacksonville and beyond. I thank you." Now, 49ers CEO Jed York also telling NFL Network's Tom Pelissero of Allen at the game Monday night, quote, "Paul has done a lot for the NFL and the NBA and sports in general, and he'll definitely be missed." And for more reaction from around the league on Allen's life and legacy, be sure to visit NFL.com. There was so much that he did that definitely touched a lot of lives, and especially there in the Pacific Northwest, he certainly leaves a legacy that will be enduring. Kay.
And we will have Judy Batista joining us on the show.
All right, let's get to it. Week 5, Toe Drag Swag Tuesday. Let's jump right into this. Let's go. King Crabtree, the Ravens, taking on the Titans. Joe Flacco finds one of our favorite guys in the league. You know who it is.
It's the King.
It's the King. Watch how my man is in the air and leaves his feet while the ball's in the air. That's beautiful because he jumps, he's off the ground like Prince floating into the room, and then taps his feet, catches the ball with his hands, and gets down. He makes it look so simple. He does it in so many different ways. The ball's in the air, my dude jumps and knows I'm going to catch the ball and get my feet down. All right, moving on. We got Kirk Cousins. Who is this? Listen, you're going to be caught in a quagmire if you're guarding this dude in the game. So I'm going to call this Stephon Diggity. And my man is out here doing it real big. All right. Okay. Now check him out. I love the fact that he gets his feet down, but then catches with his body and turns backwards. So it's almost like he's laying down and falling to his bed after a long day. That was beautiful. All right, let's move this thing right on along. Broncos. Let's do this. I know we're giving Case Keenum a tough time, but he's been making some plays, though. Check out my guy, Demaryius Thomas, in the back of the end zone. Watch how he shoves that left one down and he drags that back leg like he pulled his hamstring. Ooh. And then he gets his feet down. I love the way he extends the ball, though, because he makes sure that the ref gives him that touchdown. This right here is Taylor Gabriel. Turbo has the speed, but did you know he had the hands? Now, it's not necessarily toe drag swag, but he does land on that hip close to the sideline. But I love the custom cleats, though. Turbo, I see you, fam.
He had a huge day.
So what? Ever since you got the money, you don't know me no more? Man, come on the show, fam. And check this out. We got David Moore back at the end zone. Watch the wall. See how he goes over it quickly like a teacher grading paper on a Friday? That's how you got to do it. Check him out. He's going to catch in the back of the end zone and then go over that wall.
A+.
I got to go.
Give me some happy hour.
And that right there, and I got to go too. That's Toe Drag Swag, and don't you guys go anywhere, all right? We got more GMSB being right back.
Hey.
And we will be back. This is Good Morning Football, talking all things Thursday night action just ahead between the Broncos and the
Peter.
You won.
Mason, after everything that happened last week in Detroit, what does it mean to come out here and bang that game winner?
Oh my gosh, that whole game, it was just special. Had a great week of work, had amazing teammates. Just what a gutsy deal to get down here and have a chance to win that thing. So thankful for another opportunity, and to have it in like that is amazing. So I didn't have gray hair before last week, so this is new, but I feel so thankful.
Congrats, man.
All right, thanks.
Packers survive a scary game, and so did Peter Schrager. 13 of 17. Shel Silverstein went to Illinois.
That's where the sidewalk ends, Champaign, Illinois.
That's where it is.
It wasn't your best. How'd you feel after that?
I feel like sometimes you need to be humbled. I was humbled.
You missed 4.
I missed a bunch.
All right, let's talk more about the Packers, though. Scary game, great win. They're going into their bye. Where do we find them and fit them now among the NFC elite?
So it's funny because they're 3-2-1, and we've got the Rams who are at top of the division. We've got a defending champion still in the conference. And yet, if you were to tell me it was the Packers versus anyone, I can't say it's slam dunk. I'm taking anyone. The team that scares me the most is the Saints, and I'll tell you why. Not the Rams. The Rams haven't won it yet. They haven't been there. They haven't done it. So for them, it's going to be a lot of bright light type deal when they go into Lambeau or they're home against the Packers. Like, oh my God, we've never been in a playoff game. We've never been through adversity. The Saints have done that. They've actually lost in big games, too. We've seen them lose to the Minneapolis Miracle last year. We've seen Alex Smith rip their heart out, and they've won the Super Bowl with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. So, to me, right now, the Packers are right in the mix, and that division is really hairy. But I would say it's the Saints and the Rams, and then the Packers. But I would give the Packers the edge over every other team in a big spot right now.
Really?
Other than the Rams.
Other than the Rams, even the Minnesota Vikings, who are in the thick of it.
Are they?
Even the Lions, who beat Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know. I'm looking
big
at
game
this.
spot, I'm saying. I
get what you're saying.
I can't pick against Rodgers against Kirk Cousins yet.
I hear what you're saying. And, their record, it kind of speaks loudly for the team, because when you hear 3, 2, 1, what usually comes after that? Lift-off. And I feel like it's time for the season to lift off. And that's Aaron Rodgers. Right around this time, he usually says something. I don't know, relax, or we'll make a run, or whatever it is. Even though we went through that highlight read and we didn't see one run play. And I know for fans at home, they say, well, when you get into the postseason, you're going to have to run the ball to keep good quarterbacks off the field. Or when you have a great quarterback, it doesn't matter who's on the field competing against them. Last night, I saw Aaron Rodgers just being Aaron Rodgers. I mean, outside the pocket, throws like that, dropping back traditionally. And then what was even scarier, when the game was in its waning moments, he drops back. He negotiates the pocket. He moves just so beautifully. And then he runs for the first down and then fights for a few extra yards and takes a little bit of a hit. That right there shows me, along with plays like this, that he is elite. And oftentimes I used to think as a player, because there are so many guys on the field, not one player can make that big of an impact. I don't even care if you're a quarterback. This isn't the NBA. You're not LeBron. You can't carry a team. Aaron Rodgers can. He can carry a team without a running game. He can carry a team without a true number one. He can make all these other guys around him. And I'm not saying they don't have a true number one, because they have Devontae Adams, and they have a great group of guys around him. So for me, to answer your question, are they elite? Yes. And I will say that emphatically.
After Rams and Saints, it's them. What do you got?
I don't know if Rodgers can carry a team. This is what I mean. Like, the LeBron thing is interesting. We know he's the best player in the world, but he gets to the finals and loses almost every year. And we haven't seen. We love Rodgers and we gush about him. He's so good, but how many times does he get to the Super Bowl? One. Even within their own division, the Packers have an identity crisis. Like, it's almost perfect. They own the Bears until the Bears knocked them off. They lost to the Lions, and then they tied the Vikings. So this whole purgatory they're in. We need to see other players. That last night, that was great. That's not sustainable. They're at home against the Niners with their backup quarterback. You can't win 12 games that way. I will just point to one team that we're going to find a lot about this weekend, and is the reigning world champions. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. A little bit lying in the grass right now. They beat the crap out of the Giants, which maybe the Giants are that bad. They play Carolina this weekend. Carolina's coming off a loss. If Philadelphia beats them, let's say by 10 points, they are now running into the ring with those other guys. They have to earn that respect. They got to beat Carolina.
Are you telling me that you don't think that the Packers are the NFC North champions? If you had to choose?
I think it's time for the Vikings.
You're bringing up the Lions, you're bringing up the Vikings. Like, it's got.
I think it's time for the Vikings.
The Packers have made it to the playoffs 8 straight years under Rodgers. They didn't last year because Rodgers missed 9 games. His defense is the number 7 defense going into Week 7, and these players are stepping up. You can say that about a lot of different weapons on offense. I feel like they're better than what you're saying that they are.
Maybe. They got to score to settle with the Vikings. They couldn't beat the Vikings in their home field and Lambeau Field. They couldn't beat them, and they tied. So they got to score to settle.
Well, guys, are we off on the Bears? What's going on here? You know, we did
Listen, the Bears took a big step back, and that's why you don't sit here and say they're kings of the north when they're 2-1, because then they can't finish. I happen to think there might be something good for the Bears. I'm telling you, that loss.
They needed it.
Khalil Mack to be the MVP. Mitchell Trubisky's magic sleeve has its own Twitter account. The bye week. We're changing the game.
That's so scary to come off a bye week and lose like that.
A bye week where you read your headlines is what's most scary.
I think there's a lot of headlines, and maybe with New England coming to Soldier Field, maybe they needed to be told that their bleep stinks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that could be a good thing. I believe in that coaching staff.
Celebrate it. Good.
No, it's exactly what you said about the Cowboys. You said it earlier in the show. I need to see more. Same thing with the Bears. I feel
NFL action in the books. We like to go around the table and share what we learned. Nate and I went first and put on a pretty good show for you. Kyle, what do you got?
This is going to get weird. Last week, after Mason Crosby had his tough day kicking at Detroit, I said it was the first time we've had a day like that since a guy named Rolf Benirschke, and I mispronounced his name, and all these Southern California football fans said, it's Benirschke, he's a legend down here. So we came right and told the story of Rolf Benirschke, who was a kicker, went on to host the Wheel of Fortune. This week is a little different. This week I'm going to tell you about a guy named Guido. Now, what is the jumping point for this? Marcus Mariota. Really tough day against the Ravens. He was sacked 11 times, and we stumbled upon this little nugget that said it's the first time a quarterback has been sacked more than 10 times with 10 or fewer completions. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since the gentleman I'm going to introduce you to today, since a gentleman named Guido Merkens, there he is in all his glory. Guido Merkens played 9 seasons with the Oilers, the Saints, the Eagles, and just like Mr. Benirschke, they love him in New Orleans. He is an icon. They're saying, how did you not know about Guido Merkens? Because sure enough, there's so much to know. Guido Merkens played quarterback. He also played running back. He played some wide receiver. He was a punter. He was a punt returner. He was a kick returner. Guys, he also played safety. What? And not in the 30s or the salt pills and taking trains to games. This was in the 80s. This is modern football.
They didn't kicking?
They kicked. He did everything. They called him. He was the first guy known as the jack of all trades. This was Taysom Hill before Taysom Hill times 10. And they love him down there in New Orleans. So, it gets so weird with him. In 1985, he threw a touchdown pass to Bobby Hebert, another beloved New Orleans Saint. Guido to Hebert. But here's where we bring us the news. He's punting. He did it all.
He throws
There's nothing he didn't do.
Left-footed.
It's so weird and it's so cool, and I have so much respect.
Great punt.
Doesn't play in 1986.
Okay.
1987, you kids. The NFL went on strike. The players are saying, we're out of here, and they brought in the replacements. Guido Merkens came in with the Philadelphia Eagles. In 1987, on October 4th, it was Eagles-Bears in front of a crowd of 4,000 people at Veterans Stadium. Buddy Ryan, and I quote, this is the worst bunch of guys together I've ever seen as football players. This is the day that Guido Merkens was sacked 10 times, and you cannot make this up. He didn't start this game. He came off the bench for a quarterback named Scott Tinsley, who was an insurance salesman. And here's the worst part. Sacked 10 times, and look at this. If you can see closely, they misspelled his last name on the jersey. It's Markens. They gave him an INS. Somehow the Packers can do Valdez-Scantling and all the Equinemius say, but we can't get Merkens right. Not only was he sacked 10 times in this game, guys, he also had a punt that was blocked, returned for a touchdown by the Bears, and he still went through it, and people loved him. The more positions he took, the more punishment he took. He said, what the heck, I'm here, I'm collecting a check, I'm playing professional football, so I get sacked 10 times. And where is he now? He's actually a general manager of a CarMax in Houston, and people say he kills it. Sales records, fans everywhere. Guido Merkens, one of the great forgotten stories of the NFL. We got Rolf Benirschke, and we got my guy Guido Merkens. Wherever you are, wish you the best.
Woo, love it.
Guido, what's up, baby?
Got benched for an insurance salesman. Came in
All respect to Willie McGinnis and Brian Dawkins. I want a football life. Guido Merkins. That's incredible.
One of the greatest Eagles of all time, in my opinion. Sorry, Carson Wentz. Sorry, Randall Cunningham. Mr. Merck.
Did you go do a deep dive on like the Yelp reviews of the CarMax?
Yeah. Not yet, but I totally should.
How do you know that he's...
I read an article that a New Orleans publication put out about how well he does as CarMax and how much people like him and his bedside manner and everything. Guido, the Merc. I love that.
Crushing it.
The Merc.
The Chargers' Week 6 victory in Cleveland was a good one, and it came during a week that meant so much to that franchise and the NFL community as a whole. Alex Spanos, the team's longtime owner, passed away earlier in the week, and that was just a month after his wife of 70 years passed back in September. So after the game, Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn had this to say to his team with Alex Spanos' grandson, John, in the locker room.
But this game ball today, I can't help but to think about it. As we came out here earlier in the week, our owner, Alex Spanos, passed away. But a month and a half before that, his wife, Faye Spanos, passed away. The Spanos family has lost 2 leaders in the family in a period of a couple of months. And I know their hearts are heavy, but I hope today what you did on the field helped ease the pain a little bit, help give them a little more peace. And I want to dedicate this ball to Mr. Spanos because he's a true example of the American dream. Let's dedicate this ball to the Spanos family. Let's break this down.
That's his grandson, John. And so what Anthony Lynn said was the American dream. And we hear that a lot, the American dream, the American dream. I've spent the last few days reading the obituaries and the tributes to Alex Spanos, and that is not a throwaway term. Anthony Lynn is absolutely right. Guys, in the days following Spanos' death, I became just invested in this man's life story. So let me tell you about it because it's just incredible. He was a first-generation American. Okay, his father was from Greece. Yep. His father and mother had a deli. They grew up dirt poor. So he's the son of 2 Greek immigrants. His father had a deli that he worked at, and after many years said, you know what? I'm going to go enlist in the Air Force and serve as a World War II tail gunner. Okay, decides to set out on his own when he gets back and takes an $800 loan.
Wow.
All right. And starts a truck that made bologna sandwiches for local farmers who were working in Stockton, California. So he's selling sandwiches out of a truck. The bologna sandwich business then leads to a catering company that he and his wife, Faye, founded. So the 1950s turn to the 1960s, populations are rising. All of a sudden, Stockton, California, the center of California, becomes a place where a lot of people live post-World War II. Says, I'm going to start in real estate, and makes all these apartment complexes that all the farmers and the workers on the farms start living in. One real estate venture turns to another, and without any formal education, did not go to college, Alex Spanos, the son of 2 Greek immigrants, a guy who made his bones selling bologna sandwiches, becomes a real estate tycoon in this country. Along the way, he becomes an avid golfer and becomes really good friends with Bob Hope.
Of course.
Right? So he's Bob Hope buddies.
Got to.
Then he gets on the links with Baron Hilton. Yes, the grandfather of Paris and Nikki and the Hilton Hotel empire. And they start talking about football ownership. And he says, I want to do something fun. I have all these real estate things, and I've got the bologna sandwiches and the food, but do something fun. He says, I want to buy a football franchise. I want to buy a USFL franchise. Sure. Remember the USFL was a rival to the NFL upstart?
Yeah, the Marauders.
And instead, Baron Hilton says, no, that thing's not going anywhere. That thing's a mess. Don't go to there. How about I give you, and I sell you some of the Chargers, which he owned. So I'll buy you, you can buy a partial share from me. They do a handshake agreement.
Wow.
Baron Hilton and him on a golf course in the 1980s. Sells part of the team. Eventually, Spanos would become the whole owner of the team. He would keep them in California, and he would turn the Chargers into a perennial contender. This is the son of 2 Greek immigrants who was selling bologna sandwiches, went on to be a billionaire, passed away last week, and it's been emotional in that building. The Chargers, they're 4-2. They're going to London to play the Titans this weekend. Who knows? The Chargers have never won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Maybe this is a special year because that was a special man who followed the American dream. I love Alex Spanos' story.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Bologna sandwich.
Respect. Incredible. It doesn't get better than that.
It's good.
That's amazing.
I didn't know anything about that backstory.
Fantastic.
I would love
Stockton.
I would love for you to do that for every owner in the NFL.
I'm sure everyone
Business always fascinates
You're
me
right.
in their backstories and then their parents' backstories because everybody assumes all these individuals, these men and women with billions of dollars, that they just grew up with billions of dollars. Sometimes it isn't like that. This is hard-fought, blue-collar, knuckles in the ground, 10 toes in the dirt, money earned from family of generations.
His wife and he were married for 70 years. She passed away a month and a half ago. He passes away this week.
That's love.
91 years old. If you don't tell me that's broken heart type stuff, that's incredible.
That's love.
Unbelievable story. Thank you for sharing that with us. You too, Kyle.
Owner Paul Allen's presence in the Pacific Northwest sports scene loomed large. He was never one to seek attention, but always sought the best in everything that he did. Allen died due to complications from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Allen was 65. The news comes just 2 weeks after the co-founder of Microsoft began treatment for the disease. He was initially treated for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2009. Allen served as the owner of the Seahawks since 1997. The franchise won a Super Bowl title and 9 division titles. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell releasing a statement saying, quote, Paul Allen was the driving force behind keeping the NFL in the Pacific Northwest. His vision led to the construction of CenturyLink Field and the building of a team that played in 3 Super Bowls, winning the championship. The raising of the 12th man flag at the start of every Seahawks home game was Paul's tribute to the extraordinary fan base in the Seattle community. His passion for the game, combined with his quiet determination, led to a model organization on and off the field. He worked tirelessly alongside our medical advisors to identify new ways to make the game safer, protect our players from unnecessary risk. I personally valued Paul's advice on subjects ranging from collective bargaining to bringing technology to our game. Our league is better for Paul Allen having been a part of it, and the entire NFL sends its deepest condolences to Paul's family and to the Seahawks organization. Now, former Seahawk Michael Bennett commenting in a tweet as well, saying of Allen, quote, he was a genius and genuine person who cared about humanity all over the world, and it was an honor to be able to learn from and be around such a great leader. And for more reaction from around the league on Allen's life and legacy, be sure to visit NFL.com. And as our Judy Batista mentioned earlier this hour, in terms of the future of the ownership of the Seahawks, we should potentially find out in the coming days. But as Judy also pointed out, in terms of the football operations, everything is intact and solid as is.
Thank you so much, Will Slava. We appreciate that. We, of course, are hearing stories even from Nate all morning long, just about his generosity, his demeanor, and how he was there for the team.
No question. I remember walking on the plane for the first time. First class seating throughout the plane, 4-course meal, cable in front of you, and you're sitting there thinking, this is like first class times 1,000. I'm coming from Minnesota where we went to the regular airport, just checked in like regular folks on a regular plane. Nothing wrong with that. But going to Seattle, it was different. He literally he spent himself just to make other people comfortable. He was a true man of dignity, and he did it with grace.
Leaving quite a legacy behind. You can check out more on Paul Allen at NFL.com as the condolences continue to pour in. All right, we also have you covered on our show with everything you need to know for Thursday Night Football. This week, Week 7, it's the Broncos and the Cardinals in the desert and right here on NFL Network. And it might be a must-win game in Arizona where there's more than pride on the line. With more, here is Omar Ruiz.
Good morning, Kay. The heat certainly turned up here in Arizona as the Cardinals are now off to a 1-5 start. When head coach Steve Wilks was asked if his offensive coordinator Mike McCoy's job was in jeopardy, Wilks responded by saying all their jobs are in jeopardy, including his own, if they don't start winning. Rookie quarterback Josh Rosen says he appreciates the frustration, but he says now is not the time to try and play hero ball. Now is not the time to try and do too much. The Cardinals' biggest concern right now is converting offensively on third down. Against the Vikings on Sunday, they were 0 for 10. Justin Pugh saying if they can simply extend drives, they would obviously get more plays and therefore more production. Coach Wilks' message to the team this week as they get prepared to host the Broncos on Thursday is that nobody is feeling sorry for them, not especially Von Miller and Bradley Chubb and the rest of that Broncos defense. For now, let's go back to you, Kay.
Appreciate you, Omar Ruiz. We are excited about this one, but let's talk about the Rams and the Chiefs. Those are the two undefeated teams going into Week 6. The Rams have a stranglehold on the NFC West. The Chiefs are on top of the AFC West. So which division do you guys think will be harder to win? NFC or AFC West?
I think AFC West, because I'm just going to look at all things equal. I'm looking at the home field advantage the Chiefs have, which might be the best in football. And the Chargers really don't have one at all, and the Rams is very strange too. So I'm just going to go with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs with Arrowhead, with the young offense. I'll go with them.
I think they're ghosts with the Chiefs. Like, they started off 5-0 last year. They lose those home playoff games every year.
Goes with the Chargers too.
there are ghosts with the Chargers, and I don't think the Broncos and Raiders are going to be competing for that. So I think the Chargers might be this kind of team of destiny this year. I feel like they've got something going. I wouldn't count the Chargers out yet. In the NFC West, I love what Seattle did last week. I know they've got a couple wins. The Rams seem like a runaway train right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
3-game lead right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't count out the Chargers either. And not just a team of destiny, a team of dominance. Like when you look at how they're built, if they get everybody back on that field healthy, I mean, we've been waiting for Bosa to kind of show his face, but I mean, this team is built for success, and that offense look fantastic. Melvin Gordon doesn't get enough respect.
Awesome.
That wide receiver group doesn't get enough respect, and Phillip Rivers, who's been playing unbelievable this season, doesn't give enough respect. And you think he's not listening to all this conversation about the young generation and the older legends, and he's just caught in this like state of purgatory limbo, and he's like, well, how come you're not talking about me when I'm playing at such a high level? And he's probably going to start knocking out some of these big dogs as well.
I tweeted something like, don't tell me the Chargers can't make a Super Bowl run. And there was so much negativity. Like, they beat the Browns, so you think that? No.
Quirky, different types of plays than we ever have before. So we decided to have a segment. The 2018 segment is called Cool Plays, Bro. And we got this guy who you met in a Brooklyn bar last night, and he told you about his new app that's going to disrupt the cotton swab game. Anyway, new plays. I'm going to show you some of the coolest stuff from the week, and this one came with the Ravens. That is Joe Flacco up top. Lamar Jackson in the shotgun. What I love most about it, 3 tight ends on the field. Let's see it again here. Joe Flacco, we're going to leave you in the game. 3 tight ends blocking for Lamar Jackson. So you bring Lamar Jackson in, you put 3 tight ends on the field, you send Joe Flacco out wide. They're like, what's Flacco going to do? What's Flacco going to do? And then it's Lamar going. Again, Flacco out wide does not move.
Total decoy. He's so cool he doesn't even move.
Total decoy. Look, 3 tight ends. They all come blocking. Buck Allen throws a block, and oh yeah, Lamar Jackson, a first-round pick is on the field. We found a way to use him.
I love it.
Love
Sexy
Lamar Jackson. Next one, LA Chargers in Cleveland. That's Keenan Allen, okay? Takes us. Keenan Allen would have 4 different running plays in this game. The play before this, he had a 20-yard catch.
Phil?
We talked about Cam Newton.
Wow!
Talked about Cam Newton last week. Cam Newton threw a block. Phil Rivers throws a block on Jamie Collins here, and it's not just like it's not graceless. Like, it's a good block.
Yeah.
Phil Rivers.
He came to fight.
He came to fight.
Look at the size of the Russian.
Watch Keenan, though, coming in here. This is a flip pass to a reverse. In like 2013, this would have been the play of the week. We would have been drooling over this play. Now it's just whatever. Phil Rivers.
2013.
Phil Rivers is blocking Jamie Collins. Who cares? Whatever, right? Okay. There's still a place in my heart for just blunt trauma force, though. And all right. Frank Clark is in a contract year. Frank Clark might be the most underappreciated defensive player in the league. Watch what he does to rookie Colton Miller here. Keeps him right down, knocks him down, ball loose. This was in London. Frank Clark hit 2.5 sacks, had 1 taken away for a penalty, and then missed the last quarter and a half because he wasn't feeling well. But here, he knocks Colton Miller into Derek Carr. That is a one-man record. We love Khalil Mack. Frank Clark is having that kind of year up in Seattle, right? Look at it one more time. Watch 77, a first-round pick. Sorry, dude. Out of here.
Peter, perfect for the millennial segment. A guy named Colton.
Yeah, Colton, millennial, and he's falling down. Last play. Down 5. The Buccaneers have a shot at the end zone, and they ran this play. Jameis Winston's going to go. Everyone killed this play. Said, why didn't you throw it?
All right,
watch Adam Humphries. If they get the ball to Adam Humphries right here, as they should, look at Deshaun Jackson sitting wide open. If Adam Humphries takes that ball there, Deshaun Jackson's wide open. The play was for Adam Humphries to be pitched it, who would then pitch again.
Like a rugby line.
Watch Adam Humphries and Deshaun.
It would have worked.
It was there. The play was there. The NFL already ruled that it was legal. If he gives the ball to Humphries there, he goes and he could pitch it down to Deshaun, who's wide open with no one paying attention to him. It was so close to being the coolest play ever, bro, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Humphries should have gotten it earlier from Jameis.
That would have been an all-timer.
And it was all legal.
Oh, my gosh.
The NFL ruled on it, said it was all legal, but we didn't get it. Cool play, bro, just not cool enough.
Oh, dude.
Cool play, bro.
Cool play, bro. Let's go,
bro. Let's get a nice goal.
This is our show.
What's up?
Hey, bro, let me get this.
What filter you got?
What's up,